Do you start the video? Okay. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for hopping on today. We have a nice full agenda for you. Just a reminder to put your name in chat so you get credit for being here today, and we'll just hop into the agenda. So I was thinking about our year and realized that we're about halfway through our fiscal year for this year. So I just wanted to encourage everyone to take a moment, and next time you're meeting with your NEAs, just kind of look at your program distribution. So look at, if your NEAs are doing direct education and some indirect and some PSE. It's really important that counties have all three pieces of our program in their county. So we want to make sure that there's a good distribution. One of the things I've noticed with some counties is their program distribution between the different program areas switches a lot in the summer. So a lot of our NEAs that work primarily in the schools, when schools are closed, they have more time to look for other opportunities. And we see a little bit of an increase in food pantry work. So that's something to keep in mind, that NEAs may need some ideas on how to redistribute their time come the summer when school programs are closed. So some of the things they could look at, again, are food pantries. Food pantries see an increase in the number of people using them in the summers because their kids are not getting their breakfast and their lunch at school in a lot of situations. So they may see an increase in the number of families relying on them. So that's a great place to offer our assistance during the summer months. And that could look like our Thumbs Up program and different components of that. Another thing to look at is potentially some of the summer meal sites. I haven't seen any official reportings of where they'll be this summer, but as soon as we get those, we'll get them out to you. That could be a good place for an indirect opportunity, especially if you're there recruiting for a class that you have scheduled in a close location. So that's a good place to look in the summers. Let's see. Yeah, so again, we want all of our counties definitely doing PSE, direct education, and assisting with social marketing as appropriate, as Lacey needs help with those. So really just take some time and look at your program in your county, and if there's areas that you need help kind of getting into for the rest of this fiscal year, that this is a great time to do it because we still have 6 months left. So that's that. My other item is partnerships and coalitions. This is an area that some of our NEAs are kind of intimidated by, is approaching other agencies in the county about our programming. So it's something that as a supervisor, if you can help either connect them to the right people for new opportunities for our programming, or even go with them for that initial meeting just to help them feel more confident about how to kind of promote our program, that would be really great. It would be a good way for you to continue to expand maybe other areas of your programming, as well as help our program get into some new locations. And Lacey's done a lot of really great work helping and can help you identify the best places for those partnerships for you and your NEAs. And then my last thing is we are just starting to look at writing our grant for our next 3 years for 2020 through 2022. And as we always say, any PSE work or other opportunities that we use our SNAP Ed funding for, it has to be approved in our grant. So I wanted to kind of throw it out there. If you guys have ideas of where you think there are some gaps in our PSE offerings, if there's places that you think we could expand to with any of our programming or look at some new types of programming, just reach out to me and we can look at those opportunities and get them written into our next grant. Just a reminder, right now we have Create Healthy Pantries, Create Healthy Retail Stores, and Create Healthy Schools. So if there's something outside of those three domains, just let me know and we can look at writing something into our grant if it seems like there's interest in it from a couple of supervisors. Are there any questions about those items? And then the other thing that we mentioned in our last supervisor meeting that I just wanted to remind your educators, Smith's no longer accepts Visa credit cards, so that is their P card, so they won't be able to make food purchases at Smith's or Kroger stores, which is unfortunate because of the high fees. Not sure if that's going to be resolved or if that will just be the case. But if they do get questions from their participants, it does not affect the use of EBT cards or their SNAP benefits at those stores. So they can still, participants can still shop there with their SNAP benefits. We just can't shop at Smith's, and that went into effect last week. Okay, we'll go on to Amanda.
All right, so we have the participant gifts that we're using the Breslin shirts for, but since those are not a one-size-fit-all item, we're going to finish using up the sizes that we have, so go ahead and have your NEAs keep putting in their orders for that. But for the ones that we don't have sizes for, we have this nifty little lunchbox. So it says "Create Better Health" on it, and it has our logo. And so participants will be getting that if we don't have their shirt size. Yeah.
And just a reminder, those are for graduation gifts for participants who complete a series of classes.
Yeah.
Okay, Jocelyn?
Okay, I just wanted to follow up. The last Monday training we had, I went over marketing supplies, and I just wondered if there was any feedback. I also wanted to find out if Kathy Merrill, if you guys were able, if she's on, if they were able to get their computer issues figured out. And I just wanted to get a chance to see if any of the supervisors had any feedback, if they're having any trouble with the materials, if the formats we're using, which are PowerPoint and Word, are working for your NEAs. I just wanted to open it up in case there's any feedback from the supervisors on how those are being provided and if they're useful or if there's something that we need to do different. This is just your chance to shout at me if you've been thinking about it. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to continue providing the materials then in PowerPoint format and Word format, and assume that everybody's got access to Microsoft Office and PowerPoint then for their marketing material needs. If that changes or if there's anything different in the county offices, please shoot me an email and we'll talk about it. Thank you.
Thanks, Jocelyn. Lacey.
Okay, so farmers market. I just wanted to follow up. I've only heard from Davis County so far. Way to go, Davis County. As far as farmers markets that you're planning on working with this summer. So just a reminder to please contact me so we can just discuss how to prioritize the time of your NEAs with the farmers markets that they'll be able to reach the most SNAP recipients or other low-income audiences. Also, I wanted to share, as part of a project that I'm working on promoting farmers markets, we have a survey, which is just a sort of kind of an opinion market testing type survey that we've shared in Salt Lake County with a few classes. I would like a little more data. It's very simple that you could have your NEAs share in classes. And so I just wanted to see if there's anyone from the top of their head that could think of a great class with a lot of SNAP recipients attending. If you would like to have that option for your NEAs. I am going to reach out to a few NEAs and supervisors that I see on the Google Calendar that are teaching at TWS, just because I assume many of those people likely are eligible and accept SNAP or have SNAP. But just want to put that option out there. It'd be great because we're going to adapt our campaign to what the target audience prefers. I'm so excited about that. But yeah, any help you have or thoughts or ideas, if you would like to share your opinion, I also have a Google, not a Google, but a Qualtrics link for partners or supervisors to fill it out. We just really want to make this a sort of co-creation of a campaign, because with that sort of buy-in, we hope it'll be most effective.
Lacey, this is Elizabeth in Kane County. Just a question. This survey, do you want it to happen after some kind of educational class, or you just want to target groups where there will be SNAP recipients? Does that question make sense?
That makes perfect sense and is an excellent question. And quite frankly, it doesn't matter. It could be either way. So yes, thank you. That was an excellent question. And I know in Salt Lake it was after a class, but in Cache County we are going to have a Spanish version. I hope. I think Paula's on.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Paula just put that message up there for you.
Oh, thank you.
I did the translation of that page already.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
It's in
As
review.
soon as they have it.
Thank you, Paula. We'll have it in Spanish as well. And for Cache County, they're going to share it at an indirect booth of a Latino health fair.
So we could do it at like a care and share or a food distribution site where people come, right?
Exactly.
Okay. All right, thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, and what's handy is it may be that a more rural county doesn't have a farmer's market that accepts EBT, but I think we can still get some good information. Some of the leading questions are, where do whoever's taking it notice food promotions, or where do they prefer to get ads or information about food? So you could use that as far as for promoting your classes as well. You'll get a little information about preferences on promotional materials and mediums for doing that.
So if people are interested in that, how do they get them? Or
You know, they can email me, but maybe I'll just send a link. It's just a front and back one page. I could copy them and mail them to you, or if you have a printer. It's best if you do color copies, just because part of it is choosing which creative they prefer. And you can mail them back to us, or you can also just scan them. We do have IRB approval for this, and so I would have a kind of a script. It's very short, a few sentences on how to present it. But yeah, well, I'll just send that out for everybody, and maybe just reply like, "Oh, we're gonna do this," so know who to expect. Because I'd like to have these back within this next month, by the end of April, so we could start adjusting the ads to what people prefer.
okay, Leslie.
Hi, everyone. Just a reminder, Casey had mentioned that we're 6 months into our fiscal year now, and so it's a great time to go into pairs and make sure that you have everything in there that you should for your county. I've talked to a few of you who don't have NEAs currently, and I'm always happy to help input. I just need the information on indirect activities or maybe classes that have still been going on or been taught. I'm happy to put those into pairs for you. As well, I'd just like to ask for you all in your next county meeting with your NEAs to ask how evaluations are going. I know it was a bit of a difficult switch for people to go to the pre-post survey model, and we want to do a good inquiry right now to see how it's going and see if there's still more tweaking that needs to happen to make sure that we're getting the best data possible. Is there anyone who has current questions about our surveys for me? Okay, so I'm going to assume it's going pretty well. Okay, well, thank you. If you do have any questions, please feel free to call the state office or to email me directly, and I'm happy to help.
Okay, great, thanks, Leslie. Christy.
Yeah, so we have been, Marcia and I have been working on a supervisor training program, an onboarding program for new supervisors. But part of that is a question matrix to help with interviews. So where we have a lot of new people that are new hires that are coming on here pretty soon, I just wanted to share this question matrix that we have available. for the supervisors. It will be part of the supervisor training that we're putting together, but if you have NEAs or if you're doing interviews and you would like to use this, you are welcome to. This is, I reached out to supervisors and asked what questions they were asking and what they look for in qualities for the NEAs. And this is a compilation of everything from all of the supervisors across the state. So it includes like job skills, qualities of an NEA, and questions that you can ask to kind of find these things that we're looking for. And if you would like this, go ahead. If you'll just send me an email and let me know that you would like it, I will send it out to you. When the supervisor training and onboarding stuff is ready to go, it will be included in that. But until then, just let me know that you'd like a copy of it.
Obviously, you wouldn't ask all of those questions. You could just pick and choose the ones that.
Right. It's a question bank. So it's questions that you can pull from. So like this one, if you're looking to see what kind of experience they have, remember we're looking for paraprofessionals. So you could ask them what experience they have teaching adults or youth. So maybe they have teaching experience, but they don't have a degree in teaching or anything like that. They still have experience teaching, and that could be beneficial for an NEA.
Christy?
Yes, Kathy?
One thing that I see on this list, I mean, you know, this is going to be a big help, but they've got a couple of questions that I just personally feel like ought not be asked, like describe your most difficult coworker, because that's really negative. And instead of doing that, I think it is better, and I'm just putting this out there for people, I think it's better to do a positive spin. You know, what is the best coworker you've ever had? You know, or what is the, you know, tell me about a real success instead of tell me about one of your failures. Just because I think it just gets them thinking more positively, and then you get better answers about the kind of potential they have. But that, you know, so I'm just throwing that out there.
No, that's a good point. Like I said, I pulled questions that were already being asked, so I can go in and look at those and put a more positive spin on those, Kathy. That's great feedback.
Hi, this is Elizabeth, and just on the flip side, not that I disagree with the positive spin, but I feel like I learn a lot from people by asking them about like failure or difficulties and the kinds of things that they consider a struggle, right? So and I always ask, tell me about someone that you've worked with that was difficult and how you dealt with that. And I feel like I learn a lot about their coping skills and ability to deal with difficult people. So I'm a huge fan of those questions. That's all.
Okay, thanks, Elizabeth. That's good feedback as well. And again, these are just questions that are available to you if you're building your interview questions. This is not, you have to use these questions. You can always write your own or tweak them how you would like to. This is just a resource for you as supervisors when it comes time to interview.
Christy,
Yes.
in the chat box, we have a couple comments. Galen says the question matrix will be very helpful. Thanks. And then Kathy Riggs says, I'm getting ready to set up interviews for an NEA, so I'd love a copy of the questions, please.
Okay.
If you want someone to Kathy Riggs, that'd be great.
Alrighty. Okay. If you have any other feedback or questions, you can reach out to me on this.
Thanks, Christy. Marcia.
Kathy Merrill says, I need a copy as well, please.
All right. I just wanted to let the supervisors know that we are doing an update to the NNCP training. Hopefully it'll be ready at the end of the year. So if you have a new hire, we would like them just to go ahead and do the NNCP as is. So just go ahead and have them do that. That way they can get their raise and continue on. However, if you have an older NEA that is getting ready to renew their certificate, just have them hold off until the end of the year, and then we'll have them do the new certification with the new information. As far as what we're putting in the update, we're going to have some culinary basics, so kitchen skill basics, that will be added in more, and also an update to include the physical activity guidelines. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Okay, thanks, Marcia. And Jackie.
All right, I just wanted to follow up with you guys on the community garden presentation. I just wondered if any of your NEAs had any questions about bringing that to your counties, or if you're any comments or questions, I guess, about that program.
If anyone missed Jackie's presentation, it is recorded on the YouTube page on her community garden work, and a new option for NEAs to do this coming growing season.
No worries if there's no questions or comments, but reach out to us if you do.
Then just a reminder, if you will watch it or you have your NEAs watch it, please send me an email letting me know so I can get you guys marked down.
So that's all we have. Any other questions for us? Or what questions do you have? Okay. All right. Well, thank you everyone for hopping on today. Remember to get your name in chat if you haven't done so. And we hope you have a good week.